Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Now today I am going to be doing the final part in my series where I've been going over my top 50 albums of all time. So yeah, it's taken me a wee while to finish like this series here. I think kind of primarily because I was kind of struggling like a little bit to sort of like finally sort of like commit to the list kind of thing, because I made this way back in think about like October, and I mean, if I'm being honest, maybe some of my choices might have kind of shuffled about a bit, but you know, generally it would just be things moving up and down kind of thing, like slightly. So this is the top 10 that I came up with here. There's maybe a few interesting ones here, like a few like obscure ones, and then a couple of classics as well. And yeah, I've just judged this basically based on my personal favourites. I'm not saying necessarily that these are, you know, the greatest albums like ever made or like the most noteworthy, but they are just the personal favourites that I just keep coming back to and just always really enjoy. So yeah, we will get stuck into the list. So kicking off this final part, number 10 is Elvis Costello and This Year's Model. I don't want to go to Chelsea. Oh no, that's not fair. Even though I've seen the movie, I don't want to check your pulse. I don't want nobody else. I don't want to go to Chelsea. Yeah, so I'd say this is probably on balance my favourite Elvis Costello album. I think it's just the record where everything just comes together kind of perfectly, like his kind of pointed songwriting. And then the playing off the attractions as well on here it's just absolutely fantastic, and it's a great, you know, it's really well recorded, this album as well, every instrument you can hear them very clearly, and yeah, it's just a very rich album musically as well. Going through the tracks, kicks off with the kind of short, snappy No Action, which is a great start to the album. This Year's Girl is fantastic as well. The beat, Pump It Up, great single there. And then on side 2 you get some slightly more melodic stuff, things like Hand in Hand, which is just a very kind of very catchy kind of playful song there. I Don't Want to Go to Chelsea, with its great guitar riff and just the fantastic drumming on that from Pete Thomas, and the way that his drumming and Bruce Thomas's bass interact. They are just one of my favourite bands off this era, the Attractions. They just really gel together, and this is a fantastic showcase of both that playing but also Elvis's talent really as a songwriter. So yeah, Elvis Costello and the Attractions at number 10 for me. Okay, let's start going a little bit more obscure now. 90s album here. This is The House of Love and Babe Rainbow. So this is just an album that I've got really so much time for, and really does mean a lot to me. Many off the tracks on here do hold a lot of personal affection for me, and it's just such a lush album. It's, I guess some people, some House of Love fans perhaps think it's maybe a bit overproduced, a bit too clean, but I just think it just sounds absolutely magnificent this album. The guitar sound on here is just stunning, whether it be on stuff like Cruel, with its sort of slightly Eastern kind of flavour to it. High in Your Face is just a great anthemic track. Vocals are brilliant, and the harmonies on this album are just fantastic. It just really tracks like that and Feel and Girl with the Loveliest Eyes really just lift you up, and are just so so beautiful these songs really. So yeah, I can't really pinpoint exactly what it is about this album. I think again it's the mix of the guitars, Guy Chadwick's songwriting really hitting home in some places on here, and just to get a real like sense of it's a real sort of journey, this album. It's 10 songs and it's just absolutely perfect. So yeah, Babe Rainbow there by The House of Love at number 9. Okay, next up, similar kind of genre to The House of Love, kind of 90s, early 90s kind of shoegazy sort of stuff. This one is a Kitchens of Distinction here, and The Death of Cool. So this is an album that I've probably only really recently, maybe in the last 2 years, I reckon, discovered and kind of like got into. And again, it's sort of like just absolutely killer songwriting. Like the lyrics on many of these tracks are like really they're really songs like from like the heart. Like Patrick Fitzgerald, like, is like the name like off the songwriter like in Kitchens, and he's got a very unique like kind of perspective like as like a songwriter, and like is able just to like convey that like so well. And like even if you don't entirely, I guess, relate to the songs, you know, like the emotional weight of them like doesn't sort of like fail to like move you, kind of thing. So like tracks like on here, like things like like When in Heaven, Breathing Fear, Four Men, like they're about like they're about basically like being gay, like in like the in like the late 80s. So even though, you know, I'm not like it's like these songs just have such a kind of emotional weight to them that, you know, they are very moving tracks. Just like that songwriting combined with the band's sound, which is very it's a great mix of kind of being stripped back. Like there's only 3 members like of Kitchens like of Distinction, but also being so big and so like kind of like grand sounding. It's just absolutely like a brilliant album, like a brilliant headphones album, like in particular, but also one that is just great to play out loud like as well. So yeah, Kitchens of Distinction at number 8. Okay, let's start now at number 7. Another, I guess, fairly recentish discovery, actually, maybe from like the last like maybe say 3-4 years possibly, but I've got Belle and Sebastian here, and If You're Feeling Sinister.
But if they follow you, don't look back, like Dylan in the movie, on your own. If they follow you, it's not your money that they're after, boy, it's you.
Which really is just a fantastic album. Like once again, it's a great mix. I think this one feels quite lo-fi as well. You know, like this was their second album, recorded, well, yeah, like after like their first, which was for like a kind of like a college project, and this one kind of continues that same kind of vibe, very sort of stripped back, but also very lush as well. Like at like the same time, like there's kind of like it's like a great, like they've got such a unique sound. I think like Belle and Sebastian, like they've got a like their songs are quite ambitious tracks, like particularly like on this album, stuff like Stars of Track and Field, like Me and the Major, The Fox in the Snow, and like the title track, like If You're Feeling Sinister, feel a lot more sort of grand than they maybe actually are, because, you know, it is just like they were just like still like a little indie band like from Glasgow, but able to make like such a beautiful album. Like again, the lyrics on here like are just so, you know, well written and interesting. You know, you can really get lost like in like a Belle and Sebastian lyric, like this kind of like the story storytelling and the kind of like the evocative nature of them, particularly like on, like I said, like tracks like Stars of Track and Field, Me and the Majors are sort of like about like I guess like the generational differences, and then yeah, like If You're Feeling Sinister sort of got like kind of like religion, like like the church, like sort of like comments like on like that. So yeah, it's a really, really, really strong record, this, like one that I think is definitely their best album, like the most consistent album, and yeah, is one of my all-time favourites. Okay, that's now at number 6 on my list. We've got an 80s album here, so we go back to the 80s now, and yeah, 1985 for Prefab Sprout and Steve McQueen.
I count the hours since you slipped away. I count the hours that I lie away. I count the minutes and the seconds. I was stole that I did from you.
So yeah, this is ranked pretty highly like on like my list, and you know, I think this is just one of the absolute great albums of the 80s, particularly the first side. I think that is probably one of the greatest first sides of all time, like actually like kind of period, like in terms of like if you're actually saying, yeah, critically what are the best like sides of music, I'd say side 1 of Steve McQueen like is pretty stellar, and then even then side 2's got some great stuff on it as well. I mean, like tracks that I really love, like Horsing Around, just with these kind of crazy kind of like guitar chords like going on like on it, and like again, Prefab Sprout are just such a unique band, like Paddy McAloon's songwriting. No one writes songs like Paddy, and then yeah, finishing off with yeah, like When the Angels, yeah, just another fantastic like closing track. The thing what makes this album magical though really is the production. Thomas Dolby produced this album, and it is a kind of step up production wise, certainly from their debut album, which has a lot more of a kind of indie kind of sort of like yeah, like almost kind of rough and ready feel to it, but this one here is just such a great sophisticated pop album. It's very clean, very detailed kind of like production, like, and yeah, just some absolutely killer songs. Like, I mean, like some of my favourites, like on side 1, Fat and Young with its great guitar riff and just like this yeah very frantic kind of sort of galloping rhythm on it. Bonnie is just a beautiful song, sung incredibly well by Paddy McAloon. He was a really, really great singer, like when like you wanted to be. You could really emote and get a great feeling across like in like a song. And then yeah, of course, like When Love Breaks Down, like the big single from the album as well. So yeah, definitely for me one of my favourite 80s albums here. Yeah, comes in at number 6. So yeah, now number 5, like I think, like as I said, like at like the start off like this series, I was kind of limiting myself to kind of one album per artist, basically, for like this video, like for like this sort of series like of videos, because I think like if I didn't, then probably a lot of the top 10 could have been made up with stuff made by this guy. So we've got Paul McCartney and Wings here and Band on the Run. So I know this is the kind of basic, stereotypical choice for picking like a Paul McCartney album. Like I have already shown Ram, like that came in at number 11, like on like my list. So yeah, I would say this is my favourite McCartney solo album, and also, I guess spoiler alert, my favourite solo Beatles album like as well. Again, I know it's a basic choice, but I just think it is a great mix of like it's still got for me that homespun feel of the early Wings albums. Like yeah, like I even hear like some like Wildlife kind of coming through like on like this album, just in the fact that it's McCartney doing like all of like the drumming, and like the songs do have a more kind of stripped back kind of feel to them, but then it is also a highly sophisticated, highly thought out and considered album, like at the same time. Particularly some of like Tony Visconti's orchestrations like on here, like on like the last two tracks, like in particular Picasso's Last Words and 1985 are just absolutely stunning. The other tracks like that are great on here, like working backwards through the album like Mamonia is a lovely like acoustic number, like again a really great really great showcase of like the Wings harmonies. Like Paul, Linda and Denny were just an absolute like really underrated, I think, team. Like when people think of kind of great bands who kind of harmonise, you do think of the Beach Boys, you think of like I guess like in like the 70s you may think of Fleetwood Mac or the Bee Gees, but I'd say Wings, like the Wings vocal blend is so iconic and so beautiful that it really, like I'd say this is really the album where they got that together perfectly. So on tracks like Bluebird and like Mamonia, like in like particular, like that just really like comes through strongly. You then got a couple of great rockers on here. Jet is just a great 70s like almost, I was gonna say glam rock, but it's a bit more than glam rock, but it's kind of got that real kind of power pop urgency to it that just makes you feel great. Band on the Run is one of his absolute classics, and then of course you've got stuff like Let Me Roll It with its great riff, and again it's this kind of like that's another like example like of where it feels a great mix of being stripped back but also quite commercial, and kind of like this is the big album like for like McCartney, but still retains, I think, a lot of his personality on it, which I think was maybe slightly missing from the next couple of Wings albums personally. But this one, Band on the Run, absolutely fantastic record at number 5 for me. Okay, next up now at number 4, another brilliant record here. Underrated album, I think, in like the kind of like the general sense like of like the word, because this normally like isn't heralded as one of the all-time great albums, but I genuinely think it is. So this is Lloyd Cole and the Commotions with Rattlesnakes.
Don't it make you smile like a forest fire? I believe in love. I believe in anything. It's gonna get me what I want and get me out of here.
So this is just an incredible collection like of like songs. Like right out the gate, Lloyd was writing brilliant, literate, clever, emotional songs like on here. Musically, this album is just great. The Commotions, absolutely fantastic band, really showing their chops on tracks like Speedboat with its great kind of sort of like syncopated kind of like rhythm thing going on. That's fantastic. Rattlesnakes as a song is just brilliant. The great orchestration on it. Lloyd's fantastic lyric and great kind of storytelling like on like this album. Same like that continues like on like Down on Mission Street. Forest Fire is possibly my favourite like on here, just with the great kind of spacey kind of production and then the awesome guitar solo that finishes it. That's one of my all-time favourite guitar solos, like Forest Fire. And then side 2 is fantastic as well. Charlotte Street, brilliant, like great kind of like sort of like adolescent romantic kind of songs like just really relatable tracks for me. Patience is a beautiful song. Are You Ready to Be Heartbroken? Again, this is a perfect 10-track album here, and Lloyd Cole and the Commotions, Rattlesnakes. Okay, let's look now at number 3. We've got this one here, which I was a bit surprised like I had actually at this high, but I kind of listened to it again recently and thought, this is one of my all-time favourite albums. So it's the Stone Roses. So yeah, this is just absolutely like an absolute killer album, and it for me is just one of those records that I could just put on at any point, and it just puts me in a good mood, makes me feel, you know, better, you know, like better like than I did like when like I kind of like started like listening to it, you know, like the songs on here are just so anthemic and so life affirming kind of thing, like whether it be like I Want to Be Adored through She Bangs the Drums, which is just a great pop track, Waterfall with its fantastic riff, and like Ian Brown's great vocal like on that one, and then kind of the second side's just as good, you know, like with like sort of like stuff like This Is the One, just great anthems, and like I Am the Resurrection. Really, you know, Stone Roses were a fantastic band, you know, like all of like the players, like Rennie like on drums, like in particular, like on like I Am the Resurrection, Manny on the track like Shoot You Down with his kind of slow sort of sliding bass, and then of course John Squire, really one of the greatest guitarists like of all time, like for me. And yeah, the Roses were a band who, yeah, like they had a lot of potential and, you know, kind of blew it like a little bit like sort of after like this album, but I mean like what an album to make here, like Stone Roses from 1989 here. Okay, now we're into the top two. Now, I mean, I guess spoiler alert, both of these two are from the same artist, and I was kind of like, yeah, thinking, God, do I do this, or do I maybe try and, you know, mix up like the list like a little bit? And also just, like I said, like the fact that like I only had 2 albums per artist as well kind of limited me like a little bit. But I've kind of, gone for like these 2 albums here. So at number 2, I have gone for the White Album.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life you were only waiting for this moment to rise.
Which is just a brilliant record. I think it is for me one of the Beatles albums that I can just keep coming back to and appreciate something different with it, like every time. Like it just covers so much ground, like this album, and every kind of facet of the Beatles is on display, like on like this album. Like sort of like Paul's kind of playful nature, like on tracks like Oobla Dee Oobla Da and Martha My Dear, through to, you know, like Paul's more sensitive and like acoustic, serious kind of side, but then also, you know, like rocking out on stuff like Helter Skelter. Likewise, John is doing like a lot of like stuff like on here, where whether it be like hard, you know, rocking tracks like Yeah Blues or Everybody's Got Something to Hide Except for Me and My Monkey, to his more kind of sensitive stuff as well, stuff like Julia like is on like this album, which is just absolutely beautiful song, like I'm So Tired as well, really great. And again, George Harrison's contributions are nothing to be sniffed at either. While My Guitar Gently Weeps, one of his great songs, long beautiful track, and what's his other good one, yes, like Savoy Truffle, really fantastic stuff. So yeah, this is a great record. I know the Beatles were falling apart when they kind of made this album, really, but you know, it's just remarkable how good like it actually is, considering like I guess like the circumstances like it was made in. You know, like the wheels on the Beatles could have quite easily, I guess, fallen off like at like this point, like with like the loss of like Brian Epstein, sort of like the year before, the trip to India, like, and like them kind of pulling apart like in different directions, John and Yoko getting together. You know, this kind of was a kind of make or break moment kind of for like the Beatles in terms of whether they kind of carried on. Of course, they wouldn't carry on for too much longer, like after this, but I think just the fact that this album kind of like they kind of put sort of any individual ego aside and just sort of were like, yeah, we'll put everything like we did like on like this album and really make it a great mix of everything that the Beatles, you know, did and like did well. So yeah, fantastic record here, the White Album, at number 2. Okay, but now at number 1, my favourite album of all time. I don't necessarily think that this would really change. It is another Beatles one, of course, and I think I've said it before, but my favourite album of all time is Revolver.
Tell me that you've got everything you want, and your bird can sing, but you don't get me. You don't get me. You say you
is the Beatles at their absolute peak creativity, and also just kind of coolness, like, as well. Like, I think, like, for lack of, like, a better word, they just had a real edge and were really at the kind of at the forefront, like, of, like, popular music, like, at, like, this time. Particularly the guitar sounds, like, on this album are just absolutely great and just have not dated, like, at all. Whether it be, like, the crunchy sound on like She Said and Anya Bird Can Sing, through to like the backwards stuff, like on, like, I'm Only Sleeping. Like, it's such a pioneering album, this, and that's before we even get to the closing track, Tomorrow Never Knows, which, you know, still sounds like the future to this day. I know it's been said before, but it's true, you know. It's just such a forward-thinking track. And then you then also get, like, on here, 3 of Paul McCartney's greatest ever songs. Eleanor Rigby, amazing storytelling, and, you know, mature beyond his years. That was, like, Paul McCartney. He was, like, something like, I think, was he, like, 24 when he wrote that song? Just absolutely, like, incredible. And then he's also then got, like, Here, There and Everywhere, one of his greatest melodies, absolutely beautiful track, and then For No One, which is just a great kind of breakup song, very like a mature song, like, for someone, like, so young. And then George Harrison's contributions, like, on here, like, are fantastic as well. Taxman, a great lyric on that one. Love You Too, with his really leaning into, like, the Indian, like, influence, like, on, like, that song. And then what's his other one on here? Like, I Want to Tell You. Yeah, like, that's, like, another cracking track there, like, as well. So yeah, Revolver, one of the, like, for me, my favourite album, like, of all time, and definitely up there for me, like, in terms of, like, if, like, you were to put together the greatest albums of all time, you know, I think Revolver would definitely be a deserved number 1. So yeah, that's me there, gone through my top 10 albums of all time as part of this list, looking at my top 50 of all time. So yes, I hope you have enjoyed the video. I would be interested to know like, some of your favourite albums of all time are, if there's any that I've kind of glaring omissions that I've missed, like, off, like, the list. Like, if there's any you're thinking, hang on, I would have thought that would have been there. You know, it's very likely, you know, like they might have come in, like, say, number 60 or number 55 or, like, whatever, you know. But like, yeah, and, like, again, I guess, like, if I was to redo this video, like, in, like, say, 5 years time, like, I wouldn't be surprised if it was quite a different list. But yeah, I hope that's like, been a good video and you've enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time for the next one. Goodbye.
And I suddenly see you. Ooh, did I tell you